What is good, guys? It's Ray J back with another video. And in this one, I want to break down what's happening with Tesla, SPY, Nvidia, the QQQ, and a couple of other tickers. And break down what's happening with the economic calendar moving forward, what you should be watching for as time progresses. But before I break things down, information, before I get into any more details, let me just mention a couple of things. I am personally not a financial planner, so take nothing I say as financial advice. And also, if you guys can, please smash the like button if you want to see more videos like this. It not only benefits me, it benefits the entire community as a whole. Anyways, when it comes to the way the market is moving thus far, I want to call out something important. We just got the PCE data report, and this is actually helping the market push a bit. Even Tesla's pushing the pre-market session as we're approaching some key resistance. So what happened with PCE data? Firstly, we had core PCE month over month aligned with expectations. And let me just note that everything came out aligned with expectations, if not below expectations, which is bullish for the markets. So core was 0.2%. That's for month over month. That is aligned with expectations. Personal income month over month was 0.3%, aligned with expectations. Personal spending 0.2%, once again below expectations. Then we have the last three things. We have PCE month over month at 0.3%. This is aligned with expectations where the consensus happens to be. For year over year, this is the most important ones. PCE was about 2.7%. That's aligned with expectations as well, where the consensus happens to be. And then core PCE was year over year, this was 2.8%. This is also aligned with expectations where the consensus happened to be. So everything was aligned with expectations, if not below expectations, and that is bullish for the markets thus far. The market is getting a more positive reaction. One more piece of data is that at 9:45 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, we have the Chicago PMI report coming out. We'll see what that causes. It might cause some more volatility, but that's kind of minor compared to PCE. And so far, this is actually helping the markets. Now, when it comes to more data, please note that we have well over 500,000 of these calls expiring, or very close to that, and we have over 1.5 million puts expiring for a 2.79 put to call ratio. We will see if we see a short squeeze today, if they end up squeezing shorts, or if we see something different. Nonetheless, guys, the market does have potential for higher levels. Earnings season just kind of concluded for there's not really anything that came out today, but this is how things are looking, at least in the calendar. I went over the rest of the others just yesterday. As far as Tesla goes, I didn't see too many crazy headlines for today. Everything was what I talked about yesterday. But the supercharger access for several brands has been delayed, according to a lot of reports. This is actually going to be very important for certain companies like GM, Polestar, Volvo. They're all set to gain access to Tesla's supercharger network in North America. That's 15,000 total stalls that were set to be open for them. However, Tesla has laid off a lot of staff, so this has led to some delays here and there. Not the best of news for these different companies. However, not the end of the world. They are going to still continue to get their access. It's just going to be delayed a little bit more. It may have to be delayed till later this summer, so that's how things are going to go. For certain companies like Polestar and GM also backed up their anticipated purchases, but we're not 100% sure about the timing quite yet. So that's something that's making a lot of headlines. Everything else was just kind of repeats of what I talked about from yesterday, so we'll see if any new headlines come out. But so far, Tesla's showing some life. So let me just call out Tesla now and just focus on technicals. So I just wanted to note that when you zoom out, the first thing I just wanted to call out is the fact that we have this nice inverse head and shoulders like structure, and there is potential for Tesla to try to break out into the 200s for the month of June. June is going to start on, tomorrow is going to be the first day of June, and then for day trading, the first trading day of June is going to be on Monday. So that's a good sign. Now, Tesla has a head and shoulders like structure right here, but these are sometimes traps. You want to be very careful. It's very simple. If we see Tesla reject and lose 173, yes, we will turn bearish and we could fill this gap down here at 168. If we end up holding above 180, there is potential for us to go up to 182, then eventually 185 plus to these much higher levels to fill this gap up here. Right now, you guys could see yesterday, Tesla pushed up to 182, came back down, still got a nice green close. Today, it's still pushing up again. So this is actually favoring bulls right now. The 4 hour is actually going to PPO crossover. It looks to me like Tesla's going to try to push up to 180 again, 182 in these higher levels, and try to fill this gap up here around 185. So the chart is looking more bullish to me, in my personal opinion. Unless we lose 173, I will shift back to bearish. But for now, the chart is favoring the bulls. I want to make that very, very clear. The chart looks like it wants to push higher, and we have a nice inverse head and shoulders developing. All right, so Tesla looks to me like it's going to try to push today to at least 180. And once we break that, look at 182. I still favor the bulls a bit more, so long as we're above 173. And then for SPY is trying to bounce right now. We are currently at 524.72. You can see the 4 hour, if you actually look at SPY, is looking more bullish. We had a nice falling wedge like structure that was developing for the last couple of weeks. And then on top of this, I just wanted to call out that with this formation, we're starting to break out of it right here. So we could get a little back test right here, retest the 523.5, 523.8 area, then look for a push higher. And I think that eventually we are going to fill this gap next week, all the way up to at least 530, and we could continue to soar even higher. On top of that, I think that the bulls are still defending some key positions. They look like that they are stronger than the bears, in my personal opinion. And right now, if you look at the 4 hour, we're nearing a bullish cross in the PPO. So I think what's going to happen is we kind of may dip a little bit upon open, then start pushing higher. Let's try to break our 50 EMA around 525.55. Once we break these key EMAs, especially 526, 530 is going to easily come in 534. In my opinion, SPY looks bullish. All right. For the QQQ, no difference. It's no different. We're basically trying to push up. We're breaking to 453. We're seeing a turn right here on the PPO, and we're seeing volume starting to come back. So it looks to me like this was a nice liquidity grab, and we're going to be looking for a push back up to our 200, our 20 EMA, excuse me, at 454.59. Then eventually retest to 457. So for today, look for a retest of our 452.350 EMA. Might dip a little bit, consolidate for a little bit today, but later on, I do see potential in the charts to push higher as we have this imbalance to fill and more upside potential. For Nvidia came down to our 20 EMA. We held support. We didn't break through this. If we lost this, we would have come down to fill the gap. Instead, we actually bounced off this. Now Nvidia is showing some life thanks to PCE. It's actually up around 2%, 25 points already. So we're going to be looking for a push for 1140 to 1150 very, very soon, if not higher. So far, this is favoring the bulls. For Apple's also pushing up towards the 192 resistance. We'll see if we break this or not. The upside is not that substantial for this, but I'm going to be looking for a test of 192 to 192.5. Break that, then we're going to be looking for a bigger push to 193.5. Overall, we are looking a bit more bullish. For a few other tickers, we have NEO. NEO is trying to push a little bit. It is going to dip a bit before it tries to go higher. I want to call this out because you guys have to remember that we have deliveries coming out for NEO either. I think by next week we should get the information by Monday, and that could be very bullish for the share price. So it still has some bullish signals. Bitcoin is trying to bounce as well. We have 69,000 as resistance. Break this, then we have another resistance zone coming up at 69,500, and eventually all the way up here around 70,000. So we have a nice inverse head and shoulders like structure on Bitcoin. It does look to me like it might try to push a little bit. So there is potential for us to try to retest 69,000, even try to break through that. Let me go over a few more, just lightning quick. IWM looking more bullish. I called out a bounce potential in this. Look for 207 to be tested soon. Might retest our 50 EMA at 205, then a bounce to 207 is very probable. For Coinbase is showing some life. I think we could continue to push higher and make our way up towards 245. So there is more potential in Coinbase to push higher. And I see a very, very nice amount of potential in this. We also have this imbalance at 258. The share price looks bullish. Going to be looking for a push for the next few weeks. Amazon's back to 179, not looking that strong to me. I want to see it try to get back above the 200 EMA, 180.8 to turn back to bullish. Amazon is showing some weakness, technically speaking. So we'll see if we could try to break 180 or not. If we end up failing to do so, we could be continuing to sink down to 176.5. If we break past 180 and even close above it, then yes, there is potential for it to bounce. But for now, I want to say Amazon's looking kind of weak. For Meta's trying to rebound a bit. We do have this head and shoulders like structure. It's not looking that strong. If we lose 462, we're going to be seeing a big drop in Meta all the way down easily to the 450s, 453, for example. If we have to get back above 472 to turn back to bullish. We haven't done that yet, so it's looking a little bit weak. I'll be watching a big test on Meta. But that being said, guys, I think that's it for my video. We have GameStop trying to rebound a bit, still testing our 50 EMA at 22.4. We need to break that to turn back to bullish. AMC is trying to rebound just a bit, but I want to see it get back up at 4.56, turn back to bullish. Look for a little rebound attempt on these. That's it for the video, guys. We'll see how well Tesla does. I want to see if we can try to break 180. That's going to be a big test for Tesla. We have support, by the way, on Tesla at 178 and then 176 and 175. We'll see if Tesla could hold this or not. If we break past 180 and start pushing higher, I do think that there's potential for it to do so. But 180 is going to be a tough resistance, and we'll see if Tesla could break this. So I see potential in Tesla to try to push higher, but we'll wait and see how it goes, at least moving forward, depending on this data. Depending on this data. All right. So thank you for listening. I'll see you guys very soon in just a few hours, and peace out.